Welcome to my home office. My name is Lisa Van Kuren, and I'm a master's candidate in Boise State University's Master of Educational Technology graduate degree program. I'm so glad you're here to explore my journey through the M.E.T program. This program has been with me through so many big events in my journey during the past 2 years. I was engaged, moved to Florida, went through a deployment, and got married, all while pursuing and using my educational technology knowledge. It's been an adventurous 2 years, and I'm so excited to show you what I've done in that time. I began the M.E.T program at the start of my second year of teaching Family and Consumer Sciences to 7th and 8th graders in a suburban middle school in Northeast Ohio. After a year of applying my studies from EdTech 501, 502, 503, and 504 with my students in the areas of nutrition, financial management, and career exploration, I moved to Northeast Florida to be closer to my then deployed fiance. I accepted a position as a high school culinary arts teacher, where I've been for the past year and a half. The thing I enjoyed most about the M.E.T program as a whole is the fact that all of my assignments were focused on real-world application. Every assignment that I will be reviewing in the next 10 or so minutes have been used or formulated to be used with either my middle school Rams or high school Raiders. The first assignment that impacted me the most was the instructional design project completed in EdTech 503. This 45-page document took a whole semester to create and apply in my middle school classroom, but the results were astounding. I had created a project for my students to research a country of their choosing and tell about the foods native to the area. Students were to take this knowledge and create a Wikispaces wiki page. I created the Wikispaces homepage and an example page, as you can see here, and taught the lesson over a 3-day period. I completed a needs assessment survey using SurveyMonkey to find out the needs of my learners, to which I found that most of my students use computers daily outside of school, but I needed to generate excitement for this project as many were hesitant to start it as they had not previously had wiki experience. During the project, I used a supplantive teaching strategy to get the students started by giving them directions and walkthroughs to help them begin. From there, however, the project took a turn towards generative strategy, where students had to self-monitor and motivate during research and summarize their learning at the end of the project. As you can see here, this is an example of what they would see during their first tutorials. The second assignment that impacted both my personal and professional life was the construction of a website in EdTech 502. Not only was I able to create valuable sites like my Basics to Budgeting web quest for my 8th grade financial management students, as you can see here, but I was able to take the knowledge that I had gained and utilize it to create a website for my side business, Just a Bite Cupcakery. It was a large task to tackle creating a website, as I had never used any kind of web page construction software like Dreamweaver before. I must admit, when my Dreamweaver CS4 book came in the mail, I was just about to give up at the sight of all the HTML writing. Before I knew it, I was applying HTML and CSS code to my Dreamweaver sites and creating valuable and creative websites for my students to use. The web quest in particular that I created using Dodge and March's web quest model guided students through an interactive learning activity about budgeting fictitious money. My students loved using the computers in our computer lab to use their $5,000 when paying for rent, gas, car payments, and other living costs. They learned that that Maserati they coveted didn't really fit into their budget, and that savings really did make a big impact in the long term. It was so great watching my learning affect theirs and keeping them interested and excited about a topic many deem boring. After moving to Florida and beginning my journey as a culinary arts teacher for high schoolers, I found myself appreciating different assignments than the ones I loved so much in my middle school teaching days. The Map the Project assignment really gave me some creative leeway with my older students. I had to figure out a way to work at a higher cognitive level while still keeping my kids interested in classwork that wasn't a cooking lab. I created a project all about the different aspects of nutrition and how their food choices can affect their overall health. The students would start by learning about serving sizes, then transition into a more specific view of nutrition and health by choosing the topic that would drive their public service announcement video. Students not only got to use various forms of technology during this project, but were using a project-based model of learning to complete it. Since I had learned about project-based learning in EdTech 542, I knew that involving technology in project-based environments gives students the opportunity for authentic learning experiences. Marks, 1997. As you can see here, a graphic organizer charts the weeks and what projects need to be completed during that time. In week 1, we started off kind of slow, just an introduction, a pretest, and some research and revisions. Then week 2, we started the serving sizes poster I just talked about. Week 4, we started a topical outline and a rough draft for their research paper. Week 5, we played a review game. And week 6, we began our PSA research and production. This type of chart really helped keep the students focused on their learning and aware of what assignments were due when. Finally, the Road to Good Health podcast I created in EdTech 513 proved to be another unforgettable experience in my learning journey. Rob Lyer and Doring, 2010, defined a podcast as being a digitized audio file created by a user and shared over the internet that can be subscribed to by online users. I knew that I wanted to use my students' love for their iPods, iPhones, and iTunes library, but wasn't sure how to do it until I was asked to record a podcast. This project gave me an opportunity to apply more Florida State core standards while not losing class time to teach important face-to-face lessons. I assigned my students to listen to the podcast and write a review of the podcast, including what they learned and if they would be interested in using and listening to podcasts in the future. Based on verbal feedback, all of my students loved the idea that they could listen to the podcast on their way home from school while they were in the car and wanted to create their own podcasts for future projects. As you can see on the screen, The Road to Good Health was a podcast geared towards high school students. It was there to give specific tips, tricks, and advice to keep them on the road to good health. The podcast's aim is to encourage healthy dietary and lifestyle habits, and with references to zombie apocalypses and Olympic athletes, it really helped keep the kids interested. The 4 assignments I went over may have been my favorite based on my students' reviews and my own personal feelings, but all of the coursework I've completed in the M.E.T program has been valuable to my future. I not only plan on continuing my integration of technology in my current classroom, but plan on using my learning to apply for technology education teaching positions and/or technology integration specialist positions in the future. I hope you've enjoyed going through this learning journey with me as much as I've had fun having you. Please, if you haven't already, take a moment to search through my home, my artifacts, and my rationale paper as they better reflect all of my learning from my M.E.T education experience. Thanks again.